An old 182, you say? We've done those before, you say? No, it is a 182, but it's a bit different. So we're going to do a video on this plane because it's what you can do to a 182 to make it excellent, plus also a little bit of a model year changes, you know, the kind of what happens in the 70s to the 182s video. So let's have a look at it. So this is Mark at Skywagon University, and today's plane is a 77 182 Skylane, which is, you'd think would be just an average, normal, everyday 182, which it is, but this has had a lot of upgrades, the big one being 300 horsepower 0550, so there's a nice upgrade. But it's not just that, because people, you know, you can find a plane that's got a good engine but needs paint interior. You can find a nice shiny plane with good interior and cosmetics, no radios, or you find one that's got good radios and it's run out. This plane, everything is good. It's already done. It's all the paint, the interior, the radio, the engine, everything's done on it, which is why we're doing a video on it, because we can go over the details of what those things are and what you can do to them and why this particular year and model. So the first thing is the 550. So all the big Continentals, now remember that these, okay, model year changes. All 182s have 470s from 56 to 86, and they vary. The KLRS, U, this would have been a U-engined, carbureted 0470 in 1977. It's the first of the Qs. So Qs are 77 to 80, so there's 77, 78, 79, 80, 4 years, and in those 4 years a lot of changes happened. It's not just like it's a Q. An early Q like this has bladders, but it has a U engine, but it's 12 volts. And then you get a 78 and you think, okay, well that's 24 volts, but it's still bladders and it's still the U engine. And then you get 79, U engine, 24 volts, wet wing, 92 gallons instead of 78. And then you get 80, different door handles, big deal, but still there's a lot of little changes that went through the Qs. And then the Rs, which are 81 to 86s, those are very similar all through their production run, but this is an early Q. So it used to have a U engine, which is a high compression engine. Remember, those can be 1500 or 2000 hour TBO, and that's a big deal. You got to look at which one it is. So that engine's gone, and in here is a 550. So there's 470, 520, 540, 550, and anybody watching this is going to go, ha, the 540. So the 540 is a Lycoming, and Lycoming 540s were put in from 97 to 2000 and now, so you buy them today, they have an IO 540 in them, injected 235 horsepower. This is a 550, so it's 10 more cubic inches, but it's carbureted, but it's bigger displacement. So I'll talk about the benefits and all the details about why you would do that. Okay. So the engine is a Texas Skyways 0550, and we've got 260 videos on this channel that go into more detail about different stuff, but I always try and remind everybody that isn't familiar. 0550 means O, opposed, 6 cylinders opposed to each other, 550 cubic inches, and that's it. But if it was an IO, it would be injected, and if it was a 470, it would be 470 cubic inches. So this is a 550 cubic inch carbureted, so there's no I. And it's just a big, we won't take the cowling off because it's just a big 6-cylinder Continental. It looks like a 470, it looks like a 520, it's all exactly the same under there. And the cowling isn't the easiest to take off quickly with a Leatherman like some planes. So we won't look at it, but it would just look like a big 6-cylinder Continental. Part of the STC is this big scimitar bladed 3-blade. And there's a lot of performance gained by the engine's horsepower, but there's also a lot of performance gained by the propeller you put on it. So this prop benefits this engine. And 6 cylinders likes 3 blades. You should normally have half the number of blades as cylinders, so 6 and 3, 4 and 2, which is why my Mooney doesn't like a 3-blade, because it's a 4-cylinder. But the performance on it, the reason you'd put this engine in here, and why would you do it, you don't have to bulge the cowling, you don't have to extend anything, you don't have to change, and it just literally fits under the cowling like it was made to be in there. Because the Continentals, they can use the same engine mount, they use the same nearly case and cylinders, they just have bigger bores, so there's more air in it. So the air is the cubic inches, cubic centimeters, liters, whatever. So the engine's got more bore in it, but the actual structure of it isn't much bigger, so it fits under the cowling very well, and it doesn't even overheat. It looks like it belongs in there. And what it does for the plane is it makes it faster. Not a lot, because it's still a draggy 182 with lots of bits sticking out, but it takes off very short, it climbs steeper, it carries weight more easily, it gets you to altitude sooner. It's just a margin for error, but it gives you, it burns, probably a 470 burns 11-12, this burns 13-14, so it's 2 gallons an hour more in cruise, but you're going faster. This plane does about 150 knots, so you get there sooner. You've climbed to altitude quicker, so therefore you're cruising sooner and you're leaned earlier, and it isn't a turbo, so you're going to be on low manifold pressure, so you're going to be using less fuel sooner. So you could argue that it's marginal on the fuel that it uses above what it would normally use, because it's higher performance. There isn't a gross weight increase, but it does carry weight. They carry weight very, very easily anyway with a 470 in them. You can load them up. With the 550, it's like, it's almost, you don't even need to calculate it. You should, but it'll just carry weight incredibly easily. Fuel capacity with the bladders being a 77 is it's 84 gallons with 78 usable, and you can divide that by 14 or 15 and you can see the range. And it's doing 150 knots. So there's the math of it. Other things about this particular plane is, you see how shiny it is? That is not just well waxed. It's got a ceramic coating on it that cost $3,000 to put on it, and it's slick. I mean, it really is smooth. The whole thing has got it on it. And does that give you more speed? Maybe a couple of knots, but the guy who put it on asked the owner, did it go any faster? So being a Q, it's got a cuffed wing. So the cuffed wing starts with the P in 73, and the P airframe is 73 to 76, and then that airframe is 73 to 86 right the way through. But this cuffed wing is on them, so this is a 77, it's got it. So it's got the Robertson Stoll leading edge fitted from the factory, but without the drooping ailerons of the Robertson Stoll kit. So that's a partial Stoll cuff. So on a P, or a Q, or an R, you actually don't really need to add a Stoll kit unless you're going to go radical, and if you do, then you put a Sportsman on it, because it's the biggest bang for the buck over and above this cuff that it already has on it. So it's got a kind of, it's going to be a very good climb lift Stoll wing from the factory. And then it's got wheel pants on it, of course, which means that you can't really go off-road with it too violently. But if you put on bigger tires and a nose wheel and a bigger fork, it could be an incredible backcountry plane because of the big engine. Normal stuff out here, the Fowler flaps, the high-speed trailing edge. Somebody asked me about that the other day. High-speed trailing edge is just this bead. See, in the aileron, there's just the diamond that scratches your head. And in the flap, you've got this bead. That's a speed bead. That allows the flap to be put down at 140, not 90. Pre-73 182s have no bead, and they have 90 knot flap. So that's the high-speed flap that's on everything newer than 73, and this is a 77. Shiny, everything is. It's just what you can do to the right plane. We'll look inside it, you're going to see what it's like. It's just what you can do when you've got the right airframe. I mean, it's absolutely incredible condition. And then I won't get into all the details of 182s, but this is it's got the square counterweight. The early ones have the angle counterweight, so they don't have that heavy nose wheel that people think all 182s have. If they have the square counterweight, they're much more forgiving on the yoke if you've got a forward center of gravity. And you can see from here, if I look at one from a distance, you see the gas caps are like 3.5 feet outboard of the fuselage. That's long range fuel. If you see them inboard, a foot out from the fuselage, that's 65 gallons, that's standard fuel, which in the later planes is rarer and rarer, but in the 60s you'll see a lot of standard fuel 182s with 65 gallons. So that's something I look at straight away. When I get pictures sent to me, I'm hoping that somebody's accidentally got a picture of the wing in it so I can see what fuel it's got in it. Back here, it's all 182, it's just the usual stuff. But let's look inside it. Okay, so here we are inside the plane. We'll just turn on the avionics because they're worth seeing. On. And while they're warming up, 718 Juliet Sierra, Rocinante. I had to ask what that meant, but Rocinante was when Dante rode into hell in Dante's Inferno, and Don Quixote accompanied him on an old war horse. That warhorse is called Rocinante. So this plane is like an old warhorse, which it kind of is. It's a 70s 182 with a big engine. So if anybody's wondering what that is. And also, just for the hell of it, this end number sequence, 718 Juliet Sierra, is correct for a 77, 3 numbers, 2 letters, but it isn't the original number. And I thought that it may have been because of the sequence, but it's actually been personalized to a private, previous owner. Anyway, avionics are on, enough of the history. On, split. That's done that, yep. Split, map. Okay, so that's a Garmin G3X. So here we got a G5 Garmin, nice backup personal HSI, PFD, MFD, and then here's a G3X with synthetic vision. You can have full screen, you can have split screen, you can have engine, I mean, if you wanted to see what the engine was up to, you would scroll it over here. Well, that's zoom, you scroll it over here. Engine, and you'd have all your CHTs, EGTs, you've got manifold pressure, oil temperature, RPM, all up and down here. That's like a major screen. And if you wanted it full screen, no, that's the synthetic vision. Anyway, I'm just getting used to it. But anyway, it's got all this stuff that is absolutely brilliant for situational awareness. There's the map. There's a nice chart. There's your synthetic vision. There's your airspeed. There's your altitude. There's your DG. The autopilot talks to it. What autopilot? This autopilot, a Garmin GFC 500, which does everything coupled to this. I mean, that is everything an autopilot should do, it can do. And then above it, there's a ADS-B in and out transponder. Above it, there's a flip-flop digital nav com. Above it, there's a Garmin GNC 355 color IFR moving map that's talking to other things. Audio panel, Garmin, 3-light marker beacon. So it's very well equipped. You've got push to talk, autopilot disconnect, electric trim over here on the yoke. And then this screen is just an iPad, like any iPad, and it's got a cooling fan on it so it won't overheat. So for flight and other aviation and email, even, you can do your email while you're flying along. You got your iPad there. So it's incredibly well equipped. Whereas in the old days, it would have been Sperry Arc 300 digital gas bulb lit Cessna radios and a 300A down here. And then gyros, whatever they are, all here. So it's been very, very modernized at great expense. And powder coated yokes with monogrammed Skylane on them, which is nice. And then the interior, you don't gold plate the wrong plane. The interior is all leather with high seat backs, nice grey carpet, good headliner in it, comfortable. These seats are fully forward, and if anybody's not familiar, let's look in the back of a 182, because if that was flying, it would be about there. And look at the size of the back seats. There are bolsters and cushions and things in it, but if you just look at the difference there. And they recline, like P's and Q's and R's all recline. You have a little lever down here, which you press. They can go forward, they can go back. Enough room for your golf clubs. But big, very wide. So it's very, very well appointed. It's got shoulder harnesses in it. Just a brilliant plane. All 182s. I always say a 56 182 and a 2026. Non-turbo 2026. If you got in them both and flew them for 2 hours from A to B, you'd burn a similar amount of gas, fuel, petrol. You'd do roughly the same speed. You'd carry almost the same weight, maybe slightly more in the older plane, and you'd arrive at the same time. So it's like one of them's worth 100 grand and one of them's worth $1 million, and everything in between does the exact same job. So 182s have almost infinite price you can pay for whatever you want to the exact same job. So this being a 77 upgraded, and it's $299,000. A new one is like $900,000 and probably has a 200-pound useful load less and isn't as fast unless it's a turbo, and this isn't a turbo. So you'd have to think to yourself, do I want to buy an older one that's been upgraded, or do I want to wait 2 years and buy a new one that depreciates immediately by not much and then goes back up? But it's a thought to think, and some people think 77, that's old, that's 50, you know, that's 40 something years old. What's the airframe like? These airframes are absolutely brilliant, and you know, they're no less weak than a brand new one. In fact, because it's flown so much already, I'd probably fly this sooner than a brand new one, because I wouldn't trust the new one because there's too many new moving parts that don't know each other yet. But this is tried and trusted and proven, just like Don Quixote said. But there's the avionics. We'll turn them off, save the battery. That stays on until the master goes off, because you've got your engine instruments there, and you wouldn't want to start your engine and not know what your oil pressure was. So here goes the master switch. Bam. G5 will go off on its own. So that's it inside, and we've seen it outside, and we've talked a little bit about years and models and types and all the differences between them. Now we're going to fly it and just take it around the pattern quickly and see how she flies. So one of the benefits of a carbureted engine is the ease of it starting hot. I just turned the key and this was running. Plus, you can hand prop it. You can hand prop an injected engine when it's cold if you prime it. But it is very difficult to hand prop an injected engine when hot. In fact, you can't even do it. But this engine, hot or cold, you wouldn't prime it if it was hot, but you just hand prop it. But with not being injected, it's very good to start. So if you're out in the backcountry, middle of nowhere, with a weak battery, it would start more easily hot with a carbureted 550 than an injected one. Very, very smooth. Okay, it's already warm, but I'm going to run it up. So cigar, controls, attitude, run up. No, controls, instruments, attitude, run up. No. Controls, instruments, gas, attitude, run up. Cigar, C-I-G-A-R. Controls, full and free. Instruments. Gas, both. Sufficient. 2835. Run up. 1700. Very smooth. Mags. Left. Right. 931 X-ray. Left. Both. Prop. 2 in the morning, 1 the rest of the time. 10 degrees of flaps for fun. Lean as appropriate. Tail flaps open. Okay. Finals clear. Placerville traffic. 718 Juliet Sierra is departing runway 23 Placerville, local flight. So it's capable of a lot more than I'm going to demonstrate because it isn't my plane, so I'm just going to take off. Let's go, Rocinante. Full power. Got oil pressure, got manifold pressure, got RPM. We're doing 45, we're doing 50. Oops. There we are. Flaps off. Smooth, powerful. You don't even want to look at the fuel burn at the moment, but for the first 2 or 3 minutes, it's going to be pretty impressive, like 26 gallons an hour. Then you pull her back, I'll go manifold pressure into the top of the green at 23.
Traffic RV 1 Julie Bravo overhead 1,500, fast approach.
Placerville, 8 Juliet Sierra, left crosswind 23 Placerville. And then RPM back from 2750, which is where it does 300 horsepower, to 2400. And it's smooth. Placerville, 8 Juliet Sierra, left hand wind 23 Placerville. So there she's set up, 2400 squared. I'm on downwind, I'm at pattern altitude, and everything looking good. Trimmer a little bit, electric.
Backward traffic, plotted 8 miles west of the field, sending out a 1000, on traffic 26.
Nice thing about these is you could load it up, head over the Sierras, and you could be in Colorado without stopping for fuel. There's the landing, because we're doing 110 already. I've got the power way back now. Bottom of the green.
Field overflying.
It feels exactly like a 182 feels. It's just got more power, more climb, more speed. I've slowed it into the white arc. First stage, 140, trim.
Yes, we're reaching loud and clear.
Back a bit more. Placerville, 8 Juliet Sierras, left base 23, Placerville, full stop. Check final. And below 90, so I'm going to go full flaps, why not?
Alright, thank you.
Placerville, 8 Juliet Sierras on final 423, Placerville, full stop.
Willow traffic, Cessna 7675 Golf. We're just going to divert over to Orland, and so we'll be heading north, and we're flying at 2000.
Here comes the airport on the synthetic vision. There's the runway. Look at that. Okay, I'm doing 70, 73. I'll keep it here. It took off at 50, so we don't go below 50, but it will, I'll bring it in at like 70, and then I'll just flare gently into the 60s. Landed at, well, I barely should say it on video, but it landed at 43. Placerville 8 Juliet Sierra is clear of 23 at Placerville. There it is, a very, very nice 182 with all the mods already done. Engine, excellent. Paint, excellent. Interior, excellent. Avionics, excellent. Times, condition, history, all done. Avionics, and then engine. So we flew it, we walked around it, we looked at the differences, saw the performance of it, and was pretty impressed by it. And just wanted to do an overview of a really nice sort of early model airframe with an upgraded engine and propeller in it. So we do a lot of videos on this channel. We've got like 265, and I keep promising in the last 4 or 5 videos that a Beaver is coming. Well, we missed the chance for that Beaver, and it went to Washington and got put on floats for the summer, but it will be put back on wheels and it will come back down here in the autumn, and when it does, we'll get it. So we're going to do the Beaver, but it won't be imminent. So look at those, and if you like them, just subscribe. It doesn't cost anything. It's not like a financial thing to subscribe, but it helps us with boosted numbers. Just subscribe on the link if you would, please, and then click on the little bell for notifications. And we've also got merch, skywagons.com, shirts and hats that you can buy. And also, if you really want to help the channel and contribute to it monthly, that we have a Patreon channel with various levels that people can go in, and in there we're going to be having other videos where it's not just this. It'll be like me dropping the cowling, or it'll be the stuff off the cutting room floor. It'll be more content than just the everyday regular video. So thanks very much for watching. you.